Where the fuck you been for 2 weeks?
Oh yeah, I've been dealing with like a health thing for 2 weeks, which is why there haven't been any uploads. I'm good now, at least, so that's good. But I had to get blood work done, which, uh, just trying to make sure everything's good, and everything is good.
Good.
But I had been having like a lot of trouble sleeping. So I just felt like absolute shit. I was so tired, and I have a blood pressure reader at home. So my blood pressure was like crazy high because of how tired I was.
Whoa.
So I went in to get my blood drawn, and I've had that happen. I've had that a few times. And when they were taking it, I was like, dear Lord, that is a lot of blood. Like, I feel like they took way more than normal. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be like really woozy. Like, I need to be super careful driving home. And then I was like, wait, you only get woozy because you get low blood pressure? So they took like four like massive vials, and they were like, all right, you're good to go. And I like stood up and I was like, like walking out of there felt like $1,000,000. I was like, damn, dude, this is like a sweet, nice little balance here.
That's rad.
Just an overfilled bicycle tire that they just had to just a little bit, and then I was good to go. And I went home
I
and I
want
had
to
the
try that.
best like 2 hour sleep of my life.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
It's
2
okay.
hours.
It's okay. I'm doing better now. I'm better now, but I'm probably a little crazy still. I'm still like catching up on sleep. I know I told you earlier I slept for literally like 12 hours yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Which
but
also kind of
chilling.
sounds amazing too, and I'm sure it felt amazing.
Yes, yes, it did. I woke up like 2 hours into that sleep, and I was clearly sleeping so heavy, and I was just like, but just went right back to sleep. So,
Nice. Heck yeah.
well, Dom, you would think with our nice little 2 week hiatus that there would be so much news to talk about, but I think we just have like a few news stories, and then we're just kind of gonna chat about new stuff we've been playing. It's kind of gonna be a relax fit episode. Bust out the sweatpants, bust out the chamomile tea.
I'm not even wearing pants.
There you go, even better. I don't even have tea. So what have you been playing this week? We don't have to go into detail yet, but just in general, what have you been playing this week?
Um, League of Legends,
Yeah,
Stellar Blade,
cool. Yes,
and that's about it. But
nice.
yesterday there was a pretty big, massive update to League of Legends.
Oh, really? I
Um,
didn't know that.
yeah, it's their mid-season, so ranked is reset, which is great for me, so I can get out of low elo, hopefully. Lot
Nice.
of item changes. They got rid of some items, got added some new ones in. They changed their mastery, like uh, whatever it's called. They changed their mastery. So it used to be like you get mastery 7, and then you were just stuck there. So even if you played like
Mm.
the same champion for like 10 years, you were just stuck at mastery 7.
Oh, okay.
Um, and it was cool because you'd also flaunt it because it's not hard to get it, but it's like some type of like milestone for yourself to get
Sure, yeah. It shows like a
mastery
certain
7.
dedication.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then what they did yesterday was they made it that your mastery is now indefinite. Like you can go to level infinity now.
Mm.
So my highest played
Okay.
champion is now like at level 240,
Oh,
which
damn.
is kind of cool.
That sounds impressive. Is it kind of like
Sounds impressive.
prestiging in Call of Duty?
Also,
I'm like level 10 prestige,
kind-
dude.
yeah, it's basically like that. So
Okay.
it's also kind of sad to know that you played so much time.
Yeah. Yep. I feel that.
But yeah, so pretty cool. New items. Change some way you play the game. Makes you feel a little bit better about playing a lot with one champion or multiple champions.
For sure.
Yeah, that was kind of news that I didn't even think about until you asked me what game I played.
Nice. No, that's awesome. It's impressive to me, the longevity that game has had.
Totally. I can't believe I've been playing since 2013.
For sure. Yeah. It's going to be me with Balatro.
Yeah.
I was playing Balatro.
Definitely.
I did play some Balatro. I also got Hades 2. Want to talk about that later. It's good. I like it. I do have some thoughts, though. I started playing Rimworld, which is not a new game, but it is to me. And it's very fun. I've been pretty obsessed with that. I think, like, Balatro and Rimworld are just, like, perfect games for the Steam Deck. Like, literally perfect in every way. I might make a video about that. Yeah, little tease. And let's see. I feel like there's one more. Kind of wrapping up playing Fallout 4. I didn't beat it or anything, but just other things are starting to take my attention, you know?
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Animal Well. That was it. Sam and I have been playing Animal Well, which is Video Game Dunkey's first produced game, you know, big mode. And it is really good. It's really good. I got to remember to talk about that
game.
Yeah, it's great. It's interesting because it's very no combat, and it's very focused on exploration and puzzle solving, and I really like it.
Did you get to do a lot of gaming while you're feeling under the weather?
Not as much as I would like. Do you ever have like a fever when you're homesick and it like is almost nauseating to play games?
Yeah, it's the worst.
Something like that. Yeah, I had that a lot of the time, unfortunately. But I did still play. Over like 2 weeks, I played probably like 5 hours of Balatro, maybe like 8 hours of Rimworld, and then I watched Sam play Animal Well.
Wow.
So,
that is not a lot in 2 weeks.
No. A lot of I can't say this without it just sounding sad. A lot of like listening to the audio of South Park episodes I have memorized. I'm just like laying with a towel over my eyes like
just chuckling to yourself.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I remember that bit. But there is some news topics for the week. A couple things I feel like we should mention that are maybe like a week old at this point, but I feel like it would be a disservice not to talk about them. But I don't know if we have that much to add to the conversation. Xbox layoffs. That was a huge thing that happened, I think, close to, if not exactly, a week ago at this point. Really sad.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard about it, Xbox laid off / shut down a bunch of studios, some of which people love. I love games from 2 of these studios specifically. Tango Gameworks, who made the Evil Within games, as well as Hi-Fi Rush, which was great. And then also Arcane, who made the Dishonored games, Prey, Deathloop, and unfortunately Redfall. But that is kind of famously not their fault to some degree. Redfall was really pushed. They wanted Arcane to make a looter shooter, a game that they're not known for, decidedly. And then it didn't do great, and they got shut down for it, seemingly. Tango Gameworks, weeks previous to this shutdown, one of the heads of Microsoft Gaming visited them and was like talking about Hi-Fi Rush being like a standard of game they want to have moving forward, and then shut them down. Super messed up. I saw
That's
that one
so
of
wild.
one of the big people at Arcane went to Twitter to express how upset they were, which like rightfully so. It's just really
Yeah.
strange. It genuinely doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, especially with, I mean, both of them. Evil Within 1 and 2 were great, and it was like such a
Mhm.
callback to like the early Resident Evil games coming back. You
Yeah.
know, had that vibe. Hi-Fi Rush was just such a pretty fun, fast, cool game.
Yeah.
And then Dishonored 1 and 2 are so good.
Yeah.
Like crazy good.
Incredible games. Yeah.
Critically acclaimed. Everybody loves it. Deathloop was so fun. Also, like, I feel like that one got reviewed pretty well. And just to like axe these companies who made nothing, nothing was below average besides Redfall. That was like the only
Right.
one below average.
Yeah.
Pretty good in my book.
Yeah, I wouldn't hang my hat on this opinion. I know this is a touch controversial, but I at least understand someone like Tango Game Works, where they're making games like Hi-Fi Rush, where maybe it's a very large critical success, but just didn't sell as well as they thought. And Microsoft is a big-ass company with their hands in so many different technologies and things where they're just like, hey, doesn't matter if the critics like it, you didn't make us money, goodbye. As sad as that is, I know that's also kind of the reality of the business to some degree. But
do you want to know what would
as much
help
as I
them
like
make money?
Yeah.
Stop putting day one on Game Pass.
Absolutely. Great point.
Stop it. It's so, I feel so bad for all of these developers who are not making like the money they should be getting. Like,
Yep.
they spent, a lot of these companies spend 5+ years on a game, and then it's free on fucking Game Pass. Like, Game Pass is great. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. Like,
Great value.
$10, so good.
Yeah.
But it's just not fair to these companies.
Yeah.
It's
No,
yeah.
I agree. And there's also talk of the next Call of Duty not being on Game Pass, which is hilarious. Just the idea that they're like, we have an idea this is going to sell too well. It's not going on Game Pass. Kind of defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah.
I'm sure that game would have done better in some ways, certainly, if it was not on Game Pass day one. But it just seemed, I was looking at the Steam player base, and like at peak at launch, it had like 6,000 players, which is really low compared to even like AA, single A, whatever you want to say, titles. But
True.
I think that's a perfect example of a studio you work with to say, hey, obviously you can make quality stuff. Let's work with you to find out how we can, let's take that tool to make us some more money. It's crazy after one project that was a success in so many ways, they get shut down. But especially Arcane, what are you doing? Like, they're a storied and well trodden developer that has made so many great games, and then they have one blunder, whatever you want to call it, that was seemingly entirely Microsoft's fault.
Seriously.
And then they let them go. That's wild. And I think we are we're starting to see, I think for the first time since, I don't know, I'm not a gaming marketing historian, but like, I think we're seeing the first time in a while that games are hitting this plateau of like unsustainability, where a company will work on a game for 10 years, because that's what it takes now, technology-wise. They have so much stuff to work on to make this game a AAA. They work on a game for 10 years, and then it's not a success because of any number of factors. Maybe the quality of game, but also maybe the marketing, maybe the type of game they're making, players have kind of moved on from, like just the genre, the style, whatever. There's so many things that can happen in 10 years from the start of a game. So, like, this game fails in maybe one aspect, and then it's like, well, the company just lost us however much money on paper, you're done. It's crazy. Again, especially like someone like Arcane. I don't know. How do we fix it, Dom?
Get rid of day one Game Pass for now. I feel like, I don't know, but also this is a fucking weird world or year that we're in right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, all of these layoffs, and it's just kind of sad, especially because they're like getting rid of veterans in these companies, which, like, opens up places for like newcomers, but then now these veterans can't go anywhere also because
sure,
they've been in the game industry for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all weird. And also, like, if you're upset at any company for doing something you don't like or whatever, like, hurt them with your wallet. Like, if you don't want shitty games to have Battle Pass, or if you want companies to get paid for the hard work that they've earned, maybe don't use Game Pass. Like, I understand it's $10 a month, but maybe you should shell out some money to these devs so they can stay afloat, and also show that you don't like Battle Passes, because fuck Battle Passes.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think the film industry is actually going through a similar thing, and they are sort of making the same requests that I'm about to make for gaming, which is, take someone like Arcane. I think you can do a few options. Maybe the lesser of two evils would be, hey, we're going to shrink your studio by X percentage, and then, work on a game that's maybe not so AAA. Make something that you can make in 3 years. Let's make more games with a smaller budget, because as like Pow World shows or Balatro shows, like, you don't need a game to be AAA to get a large fan base, or you can make money from smaller games. So I think even a better option, letting people go is never ideal. Take Arcane and, have them make just 3 games over the next 5 years. Be like, hey, do some internal game jams, see what you come up with, and, pitch some of these ideas to us, and let's roll with multiple as opposed to one game every 10 years or whatever it winds up being. I think that's a strangely safe bet, rather than like trying to take these studios you've acquired and like pigeoning them into be like, okay, make an extraction shooter, and it's like, we've never done anything like that,
Yeah, nor do we want to.
Yeah, the idea that you can make a quality game that you're not at all passionate about is silly.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's disappointing, and it honestly doesn't make sense is the other thing. Even given all of these negatives in the state of the industry and the lack of sales number from Hi-Fi Rush and whatever, it's like, even if all of these things could have been avoided, now that they have the information they do, they're still just making such strange decisions. And like, I haven't looked into it, but I'm sure there are standing studios of Microsoft that don't have half of the accolades of Arcane.
Yeah, totally.
Super weird.
It's just wild. I hate it. It's bumming. I just can't get past, like, Dishonored 1 and 2 are just such amazing games.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's such a horrible decision. just bad.
Yep. Agreed. Well, moving on. We got a I don't know how to transition out of that. Well, hey, pump up the volume, Dom. We got a rumored Resident Evil 1 remake on the way. This is not surprising to me. Not surprising at all. Did you play have you been playing the remakes?
Yes. We're talking about a remake, not a... Yeah, because we didn't... Wait. I did.
There was a remake... Yes. Okay, I was going to say, there was a remake of Resident Evil 1 already from the GameCube, and what else was it on? Yeah, it was on GameCube. I don't remember if it was on anything else, but GameCube era. Yeah. And it's on PC and stuff, too.
Yeah, I played that one. It's on, like PS4 had it. I think I have it on there.
Sure.
But yeah, that was a great one. I'm excited for the Resident Evil 1 remake because I was waiting for that one this whole time. Like, I love 2. I love 3. Everybody loves 3. Everybody loves 4. But I wanted to play 1, like, full 3D, like, with, better movement and everything. That game, Resident Evil 1 is so fucking hard, how you have to, like, aim and shit.
It is. Yeah, because the remake for GameCube still had the isometric camera angles and whatnot. It wasn't the new format of the more third-person behind-the-shoulder camera.
Yeah, it's hard. So I'm super stoked for that. That was my entry into like horror games for sure. I wasn't even playing it. I was watching my dad play it when it first came out.
Oh, that's cool.
One of the first games we got. Yeah. That's how long ago the first one came out.
Yeah. Wild. Resident Evil 2, I was playing the original. I played it for a few hours before playing the remake, just to kind of appreciate the jump a little bit.
Yeah.
And still a great game, incredibly atmospheric, atmospheric. And I just think these are kind of the best examples of remakes, because they sometimes remake a game that's like a little busted or annoyingly dated. And I think this is almost like, I normally hate covers of songs, right? And the worst examples are like Weezer covering Africa by Toto, where they try and make it sound as similar to the original as possible. And you're like, fucking, I'll just listen to the original. Who cares? Like, I like covers when they take a song and just do something completely different. And this almost feels like that, where it's like, it is something completely different, but also still feels so much like the original. It's kind of impressive and crazy. So I have also been waiting for this remake. The sad thing is that it apparently is not coming out until 2026, but I am now old, and I will blink my eyes and it will be 2026. So, you know. Yeah, I'm excited.
Super excited for that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was your favorite Resident Evil game, though?
I never beat 4. I know that's the answer I'm supposed to give. But Resident Evil 2, I have enjoyed the most in terms of like playing through the remakes. I still have not played the Resident Evil 4 remake. I will. I know I'll love it. I recently was playing Village, and Village is excellent.
Yes.
But of the originals, I by far played the most of 2.
2?
Yeah.
I was played 2, played 3, but I don't know why I liked it so much, but I loved Code Veronica X.
Okay.
It was a PS2 game. I just loved that game so much. It's kind of like a side story. I'm pretty sure it's with I think it's Jill. I haven't played in so long, but that was one that I played over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I got it because it was like the PlayStation Greatest Hits like for $20 back in the day, so I
Yeah.
just played that one over. And then, strangely enough, I played the shit out of Resident Evil 5
Yeah.
because there was co-op, and me and my
Right.
brother would just play together all the time.
That one's
Yeah.
reportedly getting a remake as well. So I think that was already leaked, and now
Oh, wow.
it's kind
I
of
did not know
clear
that
that
one.
that will be after the 1 remake. 1 remake is next in
Rad.
the pipeline.
And they're gonna forget about 6. Just pretend 6
Probably
didn't
forget
happen.
about 6. For Code Veronica, do people actually respect that one still? Do people like that one?
I
I
think
don't
so.
know.
I think just because the lore of Resident Evil is just so crazy.
Yeah.
It actually has like a pretty good like story to it. Like it might not, maybe it's not the best gameplay, but I think the story is what people
Okay.
liked about it.
You bringing that up, it reminded me, I loved Crash Bandicoot growing up, but I didn't realize I played the shit out of the ones everyone hates. so like as an adult now, I've like emulated it. It was the one on PS2. I forget exactly what it's called. Wrath of Cortex. I might be getting the sub names mixed up, but yeah, the one for PS2, and everyone hates that one. And emulating it, I'm like, oh yeah, this sucks. And then replaying the remakes of that, I'm like, yep, everyone's right. This is way better. Playing the remakes of 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3 are so good. 1 though, I have never beat 1, and I still can't.
It's tough. It's no joke.
1 is hard.
Yeah, and they added they were planning, I don't know if you know, Cosmo's barking in his sleep. I don't know if you know this, but they plan to have like an ultimate final level that they deemed too hard, so they like never polished it. But for the remakes, they remade it and put it in, and it's unbelievably hard. It's ridiculous.
Wait, for part 1?
Yeah, it's in the first game. Stormy Ascent, I think, is the name of it, and it took Sam and I like 3 days to beat it. Like we'd play it for like 2 hours and be like, "Fuck this," and then give up. And it took us like 3 days.
That game is so hard. Crash Bandicoot 1 is so fucking hard.
It is.
I
really
commend
is.
you for beating it.
Thank you, sir. It was a concerted effort between my wife and I. So, Ghost of Tsushima releases today. Today, to date the video. And there's been some controversy leading up to it. I've been excited for it to come out. Have you heard about the controversy?
I have. And this is, funny enough, this is the second time in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Talking about Helldivers as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, let's make you have to use a Sony login.
Yep.
And there's backlash, and they're like, okay, cool.
Yep.
Well, let's do it with Ghost of Tsushima. Like, it's gonna make it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's super weird. I understand. Like, I think I am not as opposed to it. Okay, well, let me clarify first. So the problem is that not only does it require a PSN account to play for Helldivers 2, they just tried to enact, you need a PSN account now, and people were pissed. For Ghost of Tsushima, it's you need a PSN account specifically for the multiplayer. Mm-hmm. So I'm just grateful that they're not forcing you to use a PlayStation launcher, or God forbid a PlayStation store, that you have to. But I then learned why people are so frustrated with it, which is that in certain countries, PlayStation is not allowed. So people were buying the game on Steam, and then Steam had to reissue a bunch of refunds because people weren't going to be able to play the full game in their country. Literally, if you tried to create a PSN account, it would be blocked. So they had to issue a bunch of refunds, which is lame. Helldivers 2, same thing. It's just if you were in that country, even though the game was working before, it would ask you to create a PSN account. That's not allowed in that country. And it would just bork the game, unfortunately.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's lame.
Besides, yeah. Besides it, like being not usable in other countries, which really sucks.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I have 30,000 different accounts as of now. What's one more?
That's how I feel. Before looking up the country blockage thing, I was kind of confused why people were so upset. And I'm still kind of confused why people are so upset. Like you said, it's like, I don't know. There's a Rockstar launcher, and there's a 2K launcher, and there's a Ubisoft launcher, which, yes, people do complain about because that's like one of the worst. But this one, I don't know. Have you played Helldivers 2 since it's been a thing? I know they like backed off on it already, but
no, I have not played Helldivers 2. Yeah, I mean,
so this is sorry, go on.
Yeah, it's not a big deal to me though. I have an Xbox account just so I can have Game Pass.
Yeah,
because I don't have an Xbox. The fuck's the difference? I don't care.
I feel the same way. I really don't mind. I understand the country thing, but besides that, it is what it is. If the launcher is terrible or the sign-in, if the sign-in like bogs down anything, if it makes the game run worse, like, yeah, I'll be pissed. But if it's pretty non-invasive, I don't care that much.
Same.
Yeah. If you're in one of those countries, though, that really sucks. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Be mad at that. I'm for that. Be mad at that.
Speaking of Ghosts of Tsushima, I've been, like I mentioned, very excited for this to come out. I know that it runs on Steam Deck, but I don't know how well. I literally just downloaded the game before starting the podcast. I will be playing that, and I'll be uploading a video on optimized settings. So if you care about that, subscribe. Check it out in a little bit.
Heck yes.
Another PC port. Oh, please.
You don't buy AAA games day one very often.
I don't. There's really only two reasons. I almost always wait for games to go on sale. That's why I haven't played Resident Evil 4. Not that it's not gone on sale, but it's like gone to $30 one or two times, and I'm kind of waiting. I don't know, for like a magic number, $20 or something. But I'm buying this for two reasons on day one. Number one is I heard that it doesn't run that great, and I want to be able to make an optimized settings video. Number one. Number two is that Sam is interested in Ghost of Tsushima, and she is so rarely interested in open world games, and I keep trying over and over to get her interested in open world games. So if she will watch me play it, then it's worth it. It might just be because it has a Kurosawa mode that makes it black and white with film grain. Maybe the only reason she's interested, but I'll take it.
It's amazing, by the way. The film grain
I can't wait.
And the Japanese lip sync is so good. It's so great. That game is so fun.
That is how I will be playing, for sure. Japanese dialogue with English subtitles.
Hell
Sub over dub, man. So speaking of Sony ports, God of War Ragnarok is reportedly the next PlayStation exclusive coming to PC, and I am stoked. I basically I borrowed a friend's PS5 and I started playing it, but I was just kind of taking too long to get through it and felt bad. So I will be buying that whenever that comes out, and I can't wait. The first port was excellent. It looked so good and ran so good. Steam Deck, runs okay, but it's a pretty ass game, so that's all right.
Yeah, that's exciting. That game is so fun, so great. Um, and then the update that they released late last year was so cool. Just to have like this roguelite, map challenge that you could just do as many times as you want was so fun.
Yeah, that's such a cool idea.
Yeah, and they actually brought some pretty good story elements into it. So you're rewarded not only with like, the points and everything and beating your high score, but also like they had some pretty solid story elements to it that made it also good. So I'm excited for you to finally play that.
Yes. Thanks, man. Yeah, you remember when every game was adding like a battle royale mode? I am so much more on board for like every AAA game adding a roguelike mode. It seems like relatively easy to develop. Is like, you already have all the assets and everything. A lot of it's procedurally generated. And it's such a engaging way to keep playing. Like if you have a game that has like that's linear but has a like really satisfying moment to moment system, whether it be combat or otherwise, putting in a roguelike mode is like an easy way to just double the time you spend in the game. It's great.
Oh yeah. No, totally. Love it.
Well, I think that is about the last of our news topics. Do you think we should talk about my emulator craze, or should we start talking about Stellar Blade and stuff?
I can hit up Stellar Blade really quick.
Hit me with it. I'm interested what you're thinking on that.
Yeah. So, not finished yet. I'm in the last missions. It's taken me actually quite a while to play this game. I usually beat a game in 4 days, 6 days or something. But I've been playing this since it came out, which was like April 27th. And I'm kind of taking my time with it just because it is somewhat like a Souls-like. So I get tired of it and get mad at myself.
Yeah.
I have to stop for a day, come back, and then beat the mission, type of thing.
For sure.
But really good, really fun. The story is really cool and really good, but I will say the main character is a bit stale.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So that was my only gripe. I was like, kind of boring. Like, just like the remarks she makes or like things she says in story moments as well. But besides that, like the overall story is great and the combat is fun, and I'm still like, even this late, I still have a lot to like upgrade, so it's keeping me entertained. Cool. I'll probably beat it by this weekend. Yeah, it's good. It's fun. I think it deserves like that like 7.5 score.
For sure. I'm curious, is the main character kind of like a blank slate so they're boring, or is it just like kind of a generic main character?
It's kind of like a blank slate. Like, she's just kind of dry.
Okay.
Yeah. And it doesn't make the most sense because you meet other people that are like you, that are very have a lot of personality, but you don't.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fine though. It's the game is overall still very entertaining.
How much of a Souls-like is it? Because I know we have games like Darksiders 3 or Lies of P that are like very directly, we're trying to make not just a Souls-like, but we're trying to make a FromSoft game? How is this like on the scale of like to FromSoft?
Not that much like. I would say it's along the lines of like Jedi Outcast or Jedi Survivor.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Like you could increase the difficulty and play it as hard as you want, but at the end of the day, it's not a Souls. Like, you're not really getting one shot by anyone with all the health and shield upgrades you get in the game.
Okay.
And it's a little bit more forgiving, I feel like, with the combat. Like, and there's just so many combos. Like, you can kind of, you can't chain an infinite combo, but you can get a pretty hardy, like a pretty big combo in there and not delete them, but you can get them pretty good pretty quick. So yeah,
it seems like sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's just like it's not going to punish you that bad. Like, even though I'm getting tired of it, I feel like sometimes, especially when I was playing like Demon Souls, I had to stop playing that game.
Yeah. Too intense or like too frustrating. It takes so much like mental focus that
yes,
a lot of those games I'll play in sort of like 45-minute chunks rather than like an open world dummy RPG where I'll just like sit there for 4 hours if I have the time. But yeah, I think it's really interesting how FromSoft has like so clearly just impacted gaming as a whole to where like for a time, if a game was an action RPG, you just kind of expected it to be a little bit Devil May Cry. And it feels like this is kind of the new, like, if it's an action RPG, you can expect maybe parrying, but like very time-based attack, very punishing bosses. Like, and it definitely seems like one of those. It's just kind of like a modern action RPG.
Totally. Yeah. You hit it on the nose on that one. Yeah, it's not going to be so demanding, but yeah, there's some parrying, some dodging.
So I downloaded Hades 2. Big fan of the first game. Played it a lot, especially on Steam Deck and Switch. And I'm really liking the second one so far. It as far as I know, it's getting very good reviews. It is technically early access. I feel like it is a step up in terms of the like quality of animations, and the art style is similar, but it seems like a lot more detailed, like in effects and all that. I like how they adjusted like how you upgrade your actual character. You know, there's a lot of roguelites where, you know, it's kind of like you have the same starting place every time, and then the only kind of help you get is the knowledge you've learned from your past runs, right? And then there's stuff like Vampire Survivors or Hades, where you collect some sort of currency or something or unlocks that then help you in further runs. And I feel like the first game felt a little straightforward when it came to the things you upgraded with that currency, and like how you upgraded your character felt like kind of like a linear RPG progression. You know, there's like good skill trees in games and really dumb ones.
Yeah.
So I like how they're doing it in Hades 2. It's not as satisfying to me combat-wise so far. With the weapons I've unlocked, I haven't unlocked all of them, but I'm not finding them as interesting as I did the weapon setups in Hades 1. But otherwise, I'm really liking it. It's hard to know. It's hard to know until I've put in a lot of time like the first game.
Totally,
but
yeah.
so far, it feels kind of like on par with the first. In the first like couple hours, it kind of felt like the jump from Spider-Man to Spider-Man 2, where it's like, oh, this feels like a very, very similar game, but they just kind of polished all these areas.
Yeah.
And right now, at least, where I'm like, I don't know exactly how far I am, but now it kind of feels more like a sidestep, which is fine, because I love the excuse for more Hades, so.
Totally. Game that I want to pick up too. I have yet to, so I'm definitely gonna pick up one first because I haven't played it.
So good.
I'm excited.
Excellent. Yeah, but I'm thinking since it is early access, I think whatever problems I do have, I feel like we'll get ironed out by the time it's at a full release. Because I think they did the same thing with the first Hades. So I trust.
Yeah.
I was also playing, main other game I was playing when I was sick is Rimworld. I know I told you a little bit about it, but I'm going to tell you about it again, Dom. Rimworld is incredible. I like games like Rimworld, but this is the first game I've played that I get it. Like, I have a friend who's crazy into Factorio, and I like Factorio, but it didn't grab me in the way. You know, the like ridiculous Steam reviews that are like, I sold my children to buy this game or whatever, and I don't regret it. Like, this is the first game that I read those reviews and it makes me laugh because I'm like, yeah, this is me. And I haven't put nearly the amount of time that the reviews. Seriously, go look up the reviews of Rimworld on Steam. It feels like an exaggeration of Steam reviews. Like, all of the playtimes are like 4,000 hours, like 13,000 hours. I'm not joking. The average, I'm estimating here, I don't remember the exact number, but the average playtime for Rimworld is like 1,600 hours. That's so crazy.
That's ridiculous. I want it.
Yeah, dude, you gotta play it and let me know. So, like, you start out as almost like a hunter-gatherer society, and you have a certain amount of, I want to say villagers because of Animal Crossing, but colonists. You have a certain amount of colonists, and, you know, you can have someone working on research, which is like, you know, like Civilization, where you work on like your tech trees and stuff. But then it also feels like Farmville, where you are like designating plots of farmland and what they're going to do and like learning how to manage those resources. And it also feels like Animal Crossing, where you feel like you get to know your colonists because they all have very like specific personalities, and some people might be great at melee and mining, and someone else is really good at like animal expertise or farming or socializing. Like, you can have someone that's a great trader. Like, you'll have traders come by and you can, you know, swap out your goods for theirs. And it's very reactive. Like, I had two cultists that like fell in love and got married, and then one of them died, and it made the other one go crazy. And like, all of these are numbers you can look at too. So they have like a mood screen, and it'll be like, the two main things I make right now are beer and weed. So all of my colonists, I can't remember that word, Jesus. All of my colonists are just like drunk and high all of the time. So they're all very happy, but they're pretty ineffective at like building things. Like, I'll tell them to like build a new building, and they'll like fail like 5 times because they're so drunk. But you can like check their mood, and it's like, you know, a hurt wrist, you know, -4, but like drunk plus 10. So when one of my I'm just going to call them villagers. One of my villagers died, and then the one that was married to them, it was like -40, like spouse died. And it's like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. And then they had a psychotic break and just started like lighting stuff on fire and like killing my animals that I have. But anyway, Rimworld is really good. You should play it. I'm sure you'd like it. It's like one of those games that I have a hard time finding like anyone not liking. Like another cool thing, and I'm like anyone that's played Rimworld more than like 10 hours knows everything I'm talking about already.
Yeah.
But it's cool just in the way that like it's very simple in how complicated it is. Like you can kind of just like, you know, unlike games like Animal Crossing or whatever, where you have to build like a specific type of building or like get a certain number of resources. Like if you have wood, you just build the walls and put a door in it and it's a room.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can put like an air conditioner in it, set it to 0 degrees, and then you select the squares inside and you say like, only put raw food in here. And then it's a freezer. Like, it's just like the
That's
way
awesome,
things naturally work is like magic. It's crazy.
That's
It's
rad.
unbelievably creative. And you really can kind of do like anything. Like if you want, you can just send your colonists out to other colonies to just like pillage and take all their shit. And that can just be your run. That can be your colonists. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. Some people go like full evil and they have like they just like harvest organs and sell it to like oncoming traders and stuff. You can do whatever. It's very neat.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, I've been looking at all the screenshots in the trailer of it, and it looks so fun, and everything that you said. And earlier today, you said it kind of reminds you of Civ, like how you can like level up your technology and everything. So I love Civ so much, so it's definitely on my wish list right now. Might buy it tomorrow.
Yeah, Animal Well's amazing. I love Metroidvanias. Sam loves Metroidvanias. We love Dunkey. So we were really hoping that we were going to like this game, and thankfully we do. I think it's the first game that has a CRT effect that I don't hate. I always it's like the first thing I turn off in games are like visual filters like that, and it looks amazing. It looks incredible.
Rad.
It's like a pretty short game to beat. I think you can beat it in like 5 hours or something, but then like finding all of the secrets in like each and every screen can take you the length of like a normal indie Metroidvania, like 20 hours or whatever. Yeah, it's super good. Platforming is super good and satisfying. It also feels a little Zelda-y in the items you unlock and how it like makes you rethink rooms you've already been to, like that sort of thing. There's a bunch of items you get that are like kind of physics-based in a way I wouldn't have expected for that game that really like change everything up. It's really good. It's very, very good. Guacamelee is one of Sam's favorite games, and she said it reminds her of Guacamelee with no combat. So that's high praise. That's high praise from Sam.
Yeah. Guacamelee was great.
I love Guacamelee. It's so good. Yeah, that's a gem on PS Vita. Playing Guacamelee on PS Vita feels like perfect.
I never had a Vita, but...
still kind of worth it.
I know. It's such a pretty handheld, too.
Hey, yeah, speaking of handhelds, huh? Thanks for teeing me up, Dom. Anbernic, who makes a lot of those retro handheld emulators you've seen around, announced they're calling it the RG35XXSP. So they've already released a few handhelds under the 35XX line. And they basically just all have the same processor. They made like a vertical one, they made a horizontal one, they made like a really tiny horizontal one, but this one looks just like the Game Boy Advanced SP, and that's pretty freaking cool. It's like the dimensions are a touch different. It's not like a literal clone, but I mean, the hinge is like identical, like everything is identical. And what's amazing is that it's $58. That was very surprising. It releases May 17th, which is probably the day that this video goes up. And I have a feeling it'll sell out very quickly, but I'm going to try and snag one. Our coworker wants one, so I'm going to try and snag two. But
hell yeah.
It can run everything up to... Now, it doesn't have analog sticks, but it can run everything up to N64, PSP, PS1, and Dreamcast. So, really impressive, power-wise, for the price, too.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about it is that the screen is a 4:3 aspect ratio, so it's like perfect for all the systems I just listed except PSP. But you're like, the Game Boy Advanced isn't a 4:3 screen. Why? Well, they add a black border when you play Game Boy Advance games, and it adds the Game Boy Advance SP black bar logo at the bottom, literally just like it is on the original. So it's
so rad.
It's so rad. It's so cool. So I can't wait. I'm going to review it. Once it comes in, I'm going to review it, and I'm very excited. I can't wait to replay a bunch of Game Boy games on that.
Oh, yeah. And the price is ridiculously good. Especially if you want it, if you're into like the custom handheld market, it can get ridiculously expensive. Like you can be paying like $400 for a modded like Game Boy Color with an OLED screen and USB-C and all this shit.
100%.
$58, and it has that's so good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a steal, like you said. When comparing it against like modded Game Boys, it's unbelievably cheap. And then even comparing it to like other handheld emulators, it's really cheap.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty impressive. So I'm stoked. Yeah.
Stoked for you.
I still got an original Game Boy Advanced SP, so I'll be able to like actually compare them and everything too.
Heck,
it'll be cool.
That's great. I do miss my brother had the SP, but my first Game Boy, besides the Game Boy Color I had, my first Nintendo handheld was the Nintendo DSi.
Oh yeah.
And that one was like perfection.
That is such a good looking handheld.
Oh,
fits perfect in the pocket.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's skinny. It's pretty color. It was the best looking DS they had. Oh man, that was a great console.
Yeah, it's like it feels like one of the first times like Nintendo went really minimal with one of their designs too, and it just holds up so well. It's a lot of people's like go-to to this day.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. I would love to get a modded one. I just don't really want to pay $400.
I have one right. There's a delay on my camera. I have one right there. Pink one right there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I should go. Right. I want to stop tormenting my dog.
Fair enough. He's getting a little angry.
Getting a little feisty. Maintenance guy is fixing our apartment. So
fun stuff.
Well, this has been another week of the SuperHappyJim podcast. Dom, I hope you had fun.
As always have fun.
All right. Thanks, y'all. We'll be back in a week. Bye. I got my haircut yesterday, and he like did the sides and everything. Good boy, bud. And then and then he moved on to the top of my head, and like as soon as he started doing the top of my head, I was just like had my eyes closed and I was chilling, and then like as soon as he started the top of my head, I was like and he was like, "You all right, man?" And then he laughed, and I was like, "Yeah, I think I fell asleep for a second, sorry, dude." And he was like, no worries. And he was like, "All right, you're done," and handed me a mirror. And I was like, I fell asleep. I must have fallen asleep for like 10 minutes at least.